everyone, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Arcanum's Dark Light. This video, I'm going to share with you a bit more of my journey with Lilith and how that's going. Because I recently made a video, lighting some Palo Santo. I recently made a video, and I believe it was titled My Resistance to Working with Lilith. So I wanted to talk a bit about how that's going, and how it's changed some things in my life currently. So yeah, and I'm going to start with a few things first, kind of taking you into sharing a story with you. So first I want to give a shout out to Iron Garden, because this is where like the story takes place. But Iron Garden, I want to continue to mention this because, and if you are in New Jersey or New York or, you know, surrounding areas, even PA, there's people that come from PA, even Philly. Iron Garden happens the last Friday of every month. Iron Garden is kind of in the umbrella of the vampire community, the vampire scene, and under that is all night kind, right? Vampires, witches, wolves, Therians, fae, other kin. And this is a night haven where we can go and be ourselves and just tap into your primal self, your higher self, and have fun, right? There's conclave, there's speakers, and conclave is kind of like a round table discussion of the topic of the night, the theme of the night. There's vendors, there's artwork, and then it's held at QXT's, which is a couple of blocks from Prudential Center in Newark. And we go to QXT's all the time and have been doing so for years. And we've been going to Iron Garden since about 2015. And it's so much fun because, like, once you get you learn different things, you experience different things. There's tarot readers. When the night is over with Iron Garden, we go right into enjoying ourselves at QXT's and just the venue itself. So just a shout out to that. And I'll put the information. And this is run by Madam X. I will be featuring, if you know anything about my Grimoire Current digital magazine, I will be featuring Iron Garden in that magazine monthly, starting the next issue in September. So you will see all of that and the different presenters and the topics. Yeah, I'll put all that information in the description of this video if you want to check out Iron Garden yourself. And I've met people there that are like, follow me here. And I've met people there at Iron Garden. So if you do go to Iron Garden, you know, feel free to be like, hey, what's up? How are you? You know, that's fun. But so now, the next thing I want to talk about is, you know, before we get into the story, but I need to preface this so you'll understand why this was such a big thing. If you know me personally, you will know that I am not a spotlight person. I've turned down speaking engagements because I had this crippling fear of speaking in front of an audience. And I know that's a thing for a lot of people, right? That's not something that's new. But because of who I am a ritualist in another court, in another vampiric court in the scene. I do a lot of things over the years that have required me to be on stage. Now, when you put me on stage in ritual, that's a different thing. I love ritual, right? I'm a ritualist. I love ritual. I do rituals. So there's a little level of fear, but that's comfortable for me. So, you know, that's easier for me. But when you tell me to take the mic in front of people to speak about a topic, I totally freeze. There's been times where, you know, thank God for my husband, because he knows me. There's been times where he knows the signs, so he steps right in, where I completely go blank. And because he's natural. He's a Leo sun. I'm a Leo moon. So the things I do are behind the scenes like a Leo, but he shines. He's an MC. He hypes the crowd up. So we work well together. So when he sees me about to just like freak out, he'll jump in. So there's been those times. So I just wanted to share a little bit about myself before I go into the story. And, you know, please do go over and watch the other video so you'll know, you know, a bit about what it is that I'm saying about my resistance to working with Lilith initially. So, you know, one of the reasons why I knew it was time for me to work with Lilith, because it's not always, right? We want to work with the spirit and if something goes wrong, it doesn't work. So we think that that's it. It's not always the case. It could totally be that it's not the right time, because there's some things that you have to work through before working with that spirit, because the thing that you need to work through may block what it is that you need to learn from the spirit you want to work with currently. So I went through working with Lilith for over a course of years, starting and then stopping, until recently I just decided I'm going all in. I felt it in my bones. I felt the desire. I felt the calling. Things just lined up. So I'm currently now working within that Lilithian current. You know, I feel it in my bones. And, so by making that decision to dive all in, you know, some doors have opened up that is helping me along this journey. So right away when I just decided to do that, things began to happen. So as I mentioned, Iron Garden, it was time for Iron Garden. We were getting ready at home and we're like, you know, my husband is one of the elders of the Iron Garden. So every year Magick goes to Portugal, and during that time, you know, there's the elders of Iron Garden runs it without her. So, you know, people are a little like, oh my God, we got to do this right. We got to make sure it's right the way Magick wants it, right? Rightfully so, right? She takes pride in the Iron Garden. So this was the time where she was away. So we get there and we are met with a little panic. So a young man comes to us and he goes, 2 of the presenters are not here. One we know is definitely not coming. There's car trouble. She can't make it. And the other is just running a little late. So they still didn't know if she was coming. So the theme of the night was Reiki and energy work. So I am a Reiki master, teacher. I work with energy work, tuning forks, all the things. That's something I've done for years. So right away, they both turn and look at me and they go, can you help us? And the young man, he is, without getting into all of it, he's like part of like the bloodline, our bloodlines and things like that. So he goes, Auntie, you know, if he's thinking that's going to help. So right away, my husband looks at me in this moment because he knows me. And out of character, I go, sure, you know, I'll help. There was a little fear, but I normally would have been like, nope, because I wasn't prepared. I didn't build myself up for this. And because, you know, the other thing about that is when you are submerged in this work and you're doing the work and you're studying, you're practicing, you're experiencing these things, it's a part of who you are. You don't need to prepare. It's in there. It's just going to flow out. And that's another thing that I had to learn in all of this. So I jumped in, I did the presentation and the ritual section. For me, you know, as I said, that's more natural. But so I did the presentation and it just flowed. It went well. I did the ritual section. I guided them in the meditation, and you know, we did sigil activations and things like that, and astral. So by the end of the night, it was a beautiful night. Things was over. You know, we danced after that. You know, I love dancing at QXT's. And I got home and I was like, what the hell happened? Like, that was a whirlwind, totally out of character. And what happened was it felt really good. It felt good to achieve that. And I got home and I just thought about Lilith. And I was like, thank you, because one of the things that I had to, the reason why working with Lilith was imperative for me is because there was a remnant of things that I had to work through. And a lot of that was with my insecurities and confidence and my own sovereignty. So I've often mentioned in many videos that in shadow working, the things that are submerged in the dark places are the things that we push down because we didn't want to deal with it. We would feel like weirdos. And I say a lot of times that those are where our gifts are. We are pushing those parts of those things that help bring our gifts to life, the things that we love and are good at to life. And they're pushed down here because they're most of the time not within the normal societal things, right? And in this vampire community, this alternative world, there's a lot of reasons for me, two reasons why people usually go. One is because they're curious and they want to address their primal side and you know, how they desire to be. And two is because they feel like weirdos every place else. So, right, you could come to this place and express yourself. So, right, you don't always have that world to do that, right? And you need to be this way across the board. You need to walk in your confidence across the board. So that was one of the things that Lilith immediately had begun to help me with. And I almost felt like I had a visual of her saying that night. It's almost like she put everything together, so all the events of that night would be created in a way that it would push me out there. It was like she was like, it's time for you, go. So it was like, I just, when somebody throws you in the water to swim, it was like one of those things. But except I had all the training and experiences in me anyway. So that has been my experiences with working with Lilith. And some of the things that I do is I dedicate Fridays to Venusian magic, like just kind of venerating that energy. And so I do that with Lilith, and I create poems, incantations to her. And I've shared some of those videos, I think in shorts and over on Patreon. I've done that to her. So it is just really feeling good. And working within this Lilithian current is like awakening like the serpent that was dormant, and awakening those, shaking up the sacral chakra, right? Because there's I do a little breath work and movement that is, all those things that were dormant out of fear, out of insecurities, and the lack of confidence has been awakened. So this is the time of the year for me that I come more alive. And so now I'm just diving into working more with, more demons. And, most people say they come to life during summer and spring, right? Because naturally things are coming to life. Things are blooming. There's new life. But for me, I am quite the opposite. I come to life during the darker parts of the year. I awaken for some reason. It could be because my birthday's in October. I'm a fall baby. But I say all that to say is is now that I am, I work with other spirits, but Lilith I'm working with currently to help me in those areas that I've mentioned. But now I'm also diving into, I put together a list of demons from A to Z that more or less correspond with Venus, right? Because you look at different grimoires and you may get a different story, but more or less they correspond with the planet Venus. So I will be working with them from A to Z. I will share some of that here. However, I'm going into details over on Patreon and the Ritual Circle tier. I'm saying this because my channel here is more so for those that are beginners in this journey of the left-hand path journey, right? You may not be a beginner in witchcraft or spirituality, but working with demons may be something that you are looking to do, and you just like, doing the research out there to see what that's like. So this is why I do this channel, to share my experiences for those that may be looking to come out of Christianity, come out of those dogmatic practices, and just explore. So over on Patreon, what I will be doing, and I usually do that every month and have been doing that for that tier, because that's the tier that I work with more the darker aspects of magic. My first tier is just more like folk magic practices and working with botanicals and doing witchcraft and spells. And the next tier is all of that, but you also get me sharing working with spirits. And what I do is I share the process by sharing why I'm working with that spirit, why, the information on that spirit. And then I share a PDF guide of what I will be doing, the invocation, ritual, and magic. And then I share the actual video of the invocation and ritual. So that's what I'll be doing for those demons on the list from A to Z. Because I work within like this Venusian current, and now also with this Lilith current. But also, before I go, just a FYI, Saturday is the black moon, and it's not the dark moon. The dark moon happens, right? We know the dark moon, the cycle of the dark moon. This is a rare black moon because this dark moon is an additional cycle. I forget how many cycles, but it's an additional cycle that is rare. And I forget if it happens, not rare, like every several years, but rare in the amount of times that it happens throughout the year. It's either once or twice or once every year. But in any case, Saturday, what that means is whatever work you are doing, or if you didn't plan on doing anything, maybe you want to, because this is amplified energies. This amplifies the things you really want to set in motion, the new things, starting things, right? Going into doing real deep shadow work, right? Because this is amplified darkness, right? Amplified new beginnings, right? So on Saturday, I will be doing an invocation to Lilith if you are interested. For those of you who are like beginners or even Lilith devotees and want to join in, I am doing that over on Patreon in the Ritual Circle tier. Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm doing it at that time. Typically, I would do it at night, but I'm doing it at that time to allow members of different time zones to take part in it. So if you happen to catch the video before Saturday that time and you want to join, go over to the Patreon and check that out. But if not, this is just an FYI. Tap into that energy of the rare black moon. Look it up, see what it's all about. Maybe I'll share a bit of information where you can find that at online in the description of this video. But I just wanted to come on here and share my journey with Lilith, how I am so happy that I finally took the plunge, and right, because my reservations for working with her was all about me, my insecurities, nothing to do with Lilith. Maybe a little bit. Maybe maybe I thought she would have been like, you know what, you ain't ready. What are you doing? But for the most part, I love that I took the dive. And let me know in the comments if you are a Lilith devotee, or if you want to work with Lilith. Maybe you have some reservations like I did, and you're looking to, you know, begin to take that plunge. And it's not a plunge, right? It is, if it's time for you to work with Lilith, it is so, right? We know Lilith to be about liberation. That's what it feels like. It feels like liberation. That's the best way I can describe it. This feeling of liberation within my soul, and some awakenings. So, that is it for this video. I love you all. And until the next video, into the shadows.